Ultimate raids in Final Fantasy XIV are fights with mechanics that are meant to be completed as perfectly as possible. They are rightfully considered a step up over their Savage fight counterparts. It is content built with the expectation that the players who want a bigger challenge will partake. But that same challenge is what drives most players away. The desire to take on the fight is there, but you are told that if you aren't good enough at the game, then clearing an ultimate is impossible. That it's only meant for really skilled players, and this is an opinion that I completely disagree with. Ultimate fights are for everyone, and I genuinely mean that, and this is something I believed for a long time. And today, I want to explain why that's true and how I proved it myself. Again, ultimates are clearable by everyone, no matter the skill level, as long as you're willing to put in the time. Let me tell you of a story of a player that got their first clear of the Epic of Alexander Ultimate, but completed it before even finishing the post-Shadowbringers MSQ. So how did they clear? What did they do that allowed them to succeed despite what they were told by the community? Well, that player was me. I cleared the fight never having stepped foot into Savage, with no previous raid experience and no one to help me through the fight. Now before you click off this video and head straight into the party finder, let me explain what I did that allowed me to clear the fight. Now, I didn't have any previous raid experience. I hadn't even done Savage yet, but I wasn't going to allow myself to go in unprepared. The first thing I did was find a job I knew I was going to be comfortable on so I wouldn't be a burden to my teammates in terms of damage. For me, this was Summoner. It was easy enough for me to understand and quickly, so this allowed me to put all of my focus on learning the fight. The next thing I did was set up a goal, but I didn't give myself a strict timeline. The goal was to clear the fight. It didn't matter when, but whenever I started, I wouldn't allow myself to stop until I got the clear. I could even take a break if I wanted, or if my IRL got busy, there'd be no pressure. But no matter what, I would clear. I think this is the perfect way to go about progging your first ultimate. As long as you stick to it and put in the time, you will clear. Think of an ultimate as if you were living in a new area. You might need a GPS or a guide to help you get to where you want to go. Or maybe you like exploring and wherever you end up along the way doesn't matter. Either way, what doesn't change is that you stayed on the path and didn't get off until you got to where you wanted to go. And how you got there is by taking your time and learning at your own pace. This is exactly how it works with the content in Final Fantasy XIV. The fights are designed to be learned, to be able to be navigated through and reach a final destination, and by anyone. Some people might have a supercar and can speed through no problem, and some people might only be able to walk. If you want that supercar, you have to build it yourself, and when you do, you will be able to travel the road as fast as you want. More on this later, but the key takeaway is that the road is meant to be traveled regardless of the means. The next thing I did was decide how I wanted to do the fight. Did I want to see if there was a group looking for a caster? Or did I want to try and hop into the party finder whenever I felt like it? For someone with social anxiety like myself, the party finder was the perfect option for me. I didn't have to commit to a schedule or talk to anyone. I could learn at my own pace. That's the big advantage of the party finder. While you might have to spend a good amount of time waiting for the party to fill, once it does, you get to progress through the fight with others who are in the same boat as you. And while you don't have to talk to them, you don't feel alone. In fact, it's the opposite. You aren't an organized team, but you are working towards the same goal. And even if you never see each other again, everyone benefits by showing up prepared and spending the time hitting the boss. It is extremely important that you put in the time for the goals you set for yourself. I spent about 3 to 4 weeks before I got my first clear of T, and those days consisted of 8 or more hours in the party finder. But I still had to wait like everyone else for the party to fill. So how did I clear in such a short amount of time? While I was waiting, I was studying. I decided I wasn't going to do the fight blind. So I spent every minute that I wasn't in the instance studying resources and guides. There are so many good Google documents and toolboxes available, as well as cheat sheets that I could understand at a glance. This allowed me to maximize the time I was spending because even though I wasn't hitting the boss 100% of the time, I was learning the fight 100% of the time. We all have the same 24 hours in a day, but it's how we use that 24 hours that makes the difference. This allowed me to overcome the fear of not knowing how mechanics are meant to be solved and build confidence. Even if I had messed up on the mechanic, I knew how it worked and how it was meant to be solved. The time I spent learning also allowed me to form a mental shield against any doubt I had about clearing the fight. Keeping your mental in check is a skill. Anyone can develop this skill as long as they get through the barrier of starting the fight in the first place. There's also the innate fact that some ultimates are easier than others. In my opinion, the scale from the least to most difficult would be Uwu, UCOB, T, Fru, DSR, and Top. Any of these fights would be a good candidate to start with, and what you pick will depend on how much of a challenge you're looking for at the time. My point is, there is something for you. We have 6 amazing fights ready for you to take on, and in any order at any time. For me, I cleared in the order of T, Uwu, UCOB, Top, DSR, and Fru. Why? I mean, take a look for yourself. Don't I look awesome? That's why I did T first. And every other ultimate I just did when I felt like it or when it released. It doesn't need to be more complicated than that, and you shouldn't let others convince you that it is. I have friends who started straight with Top, and they were successful because they put in the time. That's my story. I picked a fight, made a goal, and stuck to it. And take a look at me now. I've accomplished everything I've set out to do, and I want that for you as well. You'll notice so far that I haven't talked about the walls of these fights. That's because the true wall doesn't have anything to do with the ultimates themselves. The biggest wall is you, the player. Your mindset is the only thing that will determine if you are able to clear an ultimate or not. Whether you think you can or think you can't, you're right. Sure, you may not be able to prog every day. You might only be able to prog by yourself. Or maybe you just don't even know where to start. But don't let that be the reason you miss out on things you want to do in life. If you want to do an ultimate, don't let some random loser on the internet tell you that you can't. Because you can. Anyone can. And if you don't know where to start, or you want help getting there, I built a community on Discord where we talk about raiding, ultimates, and progression every day. It's filled with players just like you, those who love to raid, those who want to raid, and veterans who won't gatekeep anything from you, like myself. I also raid live on twitch.tv/S4Samir Monday through Friday at 6 p.m. Central, where I'm always happy to answer questions live. If this video helped you, leave a like. Not for me, but so more people stop listening to gatekeepers who say that you can't do this content. Subscribe if you want to be prepared for anything that Final Fantasy throws at you. And as always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.